crazy. I'm so tired of it.
Just for anyone that's tuning in right now, we're talking about AI.
Yeah. We are. Yeah. We should stop. I keep saying this. We should stop calling it AI. We should be calling it machine learning.
It is. Well, isn't that what AI is?
No, actually, it's not.
It's generative art. It's literally putting things into a meat grinder and then being like, here goes the same thing you put in, but just rearranged differently.
Yeah. And people are just like, yeah, it's cool. No, it's not.
Yeah, because it takes all the hard work out of art and the money aspect as well. I'm not saying it's a good thing, just to clarify.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think of a different way to word it because it's like if someone sold a pizza to someone, they ate that pizza, but then vomited that pizza back up into the box and sold it back to them. That's what AI art is.
There was actually like, we're getting really off topic already, but there was like rumors about Chuck E. Cheese, the American pizza restaurant, that they would go around and get the leftover slices and basically jigsaw them together to make a new pizza. It's kind of like that. But it's more like if someone stole your car, chopped it into pieces, rearranged it into a new different car, and then sold it back to you or gave it to you as a present. I guess. I don't know. These metaphors are getting wildly out of hand.
It's for people who don't understand how it works and what's happening and why people are so angry at it. It's easier to try and throw it into that sort of, well, this is what is actually happening. I mean, you can explain to someone what's happening, but they often won't understand it or why people are getting angry about it.
Like the video that I showed you for the news aspect side of it. I can see where it could potentially be used as a tool to reduce workload. However, I don't necessarily think it should be. I feel like we should just
kind of work. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem we're having here.
Let people do the work, give them the time that they need to do said work, as opposed to just like churning all the work out to get as much made in a given time frame, so that the higher ups can make money. That's the real issue.
Yeah. And that's what they're aiming for. That's how the corporate sees it.
Or they just see it as eliminating these people altogether and saving coin.
Yeah, but they can't do that.
They can.
But they can't.
The net result will be shit product, but they can do it.
They can do it, but what will happen is those people will go on to do something else.
Yeah.
And then nobody will buy their shit product anymore. You see?
So I'm not
do it.
No, they can. They shouldn't, but they can.
Yeah. I can also set fire to a primary school, but I
shouldn't. But you can.
But I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a can.
I'm not saying
there's always a possibility. In an alternate universe somewhere, I just ran out the door.
Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 58 of Read This Way, where we've initially gone way off topic.
Not completely off topic, because this has been sparked by a particular video you threw at me in relation to what's their name again?
Corridor Crew.
Doing these anime.
Just a side note as well. I feel super conflicted about the whole thing because I really like Corridor Crew's other projects that they do. They do a lot of special effects work and stuff, and it's fantastic. This side of it, they're being very. I feel like they're doing it on purpose to get a rise out of people and get a lot more free publicity around it.
Yeah.
Judging from what I've seen their other stuff, I don't necessarily think they would have actually gone about this the wrong way and fed their algorithm, because it's what it is. It's not AI, it's an algorithm. With stolen artwork, but I can't say that for sure.
I mean, considering the scale of who they are, because they're a pretty popular group and they do pretty well on YouTube. I would like to believe that they've hired a team of artists to provide the work to construct this. I think it's both videos are too refined to be straight up AI.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also their background in and of themselves, like they're all programmers, like artists of some
special
description,
effects, all that sort of stuff.
yeah, like it. But again, the way they've gone about it and haven't specified whether or not they have done that feels purposeful.
Yeah, like they're just keeping everything in the dark just to spark more conversation, which is, I mean, that's a great tactic.
It is,
but at the same
it's also
time,
a double-edged
makes
sword,
people,
right?
yeah, it makes people like you and me go, I really don't want to watch this stuff anymore.
Also, it just looks like shit.
It does, unless it was designed to look that way for a particular reason. So if it was designed, if they come out tomorrow and go, look, the reason we've done this is to show people what movies will look like in the future if this keeps up. This is what they will expect to see in the cinema if these, studio executives have their way, and not that, cinema will never stop. But if they get their way, the vast majority of big budget things will look like this. Which is
I would love to give them the benefit and you the benefit of the doubt. However, it's been months and they've put out a second video now. And granted, they could be playing the long game here, but I don't know. I feel like they've created this thing and they just want to sell it for money. That's the kind of implication. Well, yeah, that's the implication that I'm getting from the whole thing. But again, I don't know.
Yeah. Are they selling their algorithm? Are they
I believe that's
going to studio execs and going, hey,
that's the end goal, yeah. I haven't
if that
looked
is
enough though.
I hope it all burns to the ground for them. But, I'm a little bit anarchistic tonight.
Yeah, what is with you? You want to burn primary schools and
yeah, look, it's just mayhem is my thing, my mood
flavor
tonight.
Good, because I'm gonna do some roasting a bit later as well.
Oh, nice. I love a good roasting.
I mean, I'd love to see what your take is next week. After
you're gonna make me do stuff.
Well, I'm also gonna set the bar exceptionally low. It's not cheat skill low, but it's not too far above it.
Okay, my standards are pretty low, so
yeah.
I mean, I did watch Cheat Skill for a whole season.
So. Yeah, you did. I did too.
Yeah, that's actually been, since I've watched that, it's like it is my benchmark now. Like I can watch a shitty anime or read a crappy manga now and go, it's pretty bad, but
it's no cheat skill.
Cheat skill bad.
See, we've done you all a favor.
That's right.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And on top of that, it's, produced a lot of great memes and very entertaining. Yeah, it has. It's more to do with the animation crowd than it is the general public. Yeah. So if you're in with all the indie anime and stuff like that, they have a good joke over it. The fact that a lot of the Saku guys just put the animator for the sequences as robots.
That's
as
right. Yeah, I
opposed
do
to
remember.
yeah, because nobody's willing to put their name to it.
Hang on a second. Is this?
What?
I think I was just quickly looking at news because there's really not a
There's
lot.
nothing. There's nothing going on. One Piece kind of took over the news for a solid few weeks,
It
and
is.
now that it's actually aired, everybody's like, well, there's nothing else happening now.
Well, to be fair, actually, I do want to touch on One Piece later on in the episode because we didn't talk about 1071. The only
No,
bit
we
of
didn't, did we?
news. No, we didn't.
After all the shenanigans.
There was so much hype. Yeah, wow, there is sweet FA. Well, the only bit of news that I really have to talk about is I mean, everyone, the magazine's on a break this week, so there hasn't been any weeklies. Chainsaw Man and Dan to Dan are pretty much the only of the weeklies that we actually got, and they were both
And you know what?
spectacular.
I'm happy with that.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
So this series here, I've read the first couple of chapters. It's called 2.5D Seduction. Do you remember me talking about this?
No, but I'm pretty sure I've heard about it.
It's incredibly horny. Like high school DxD
That
level
doesn't
horny.
sound like you at all.
Occasionally I oh hang on, we haven't even Oh, hey Jack. No, I worked on that.
You can try. You can try.
Before we jump into the news, actually, did that cut out for you as well?
What do you mean?
No, okay, it was just my internet by the sounds of it. It like paused and then rapidly caught up. It was really jarring.
Yeah, it must have been your internet.
Yeah. Anyway, so 2.5D Seduction. I feel like I've spoken about this a few months back. I didn't know it was going to get an adaptation. It's being turned into an anime early 2024. These are the same girl, I think. I don't know. I've only read the first chapter and a bit. It's hornier My Dress Up Darling.
So it's like a cosplay thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you did send this through to me, and I may have read some of it.
So it's the upperclassman is in the anime manga club. Lowerclassman joins, and she's all like, "Hey, we're into the same stuff. I've kind of pseudo stalked you by accident. Would you mind taking aero photos of me? Because finding someone on Craigslist would be creepy." That's essentially the plot.
I remember that first chapter. It looked really funny. It looked like a really good comedy. Actually, just yes, it's horny, but sometimes they go hand in hand, and they go hand in hand really, really well.
So from what I read, you've pretty much nailed it. No pun intended. It is incredibly horny. It was pretty funny. The gags, I don't know how long they will stay funny, because for the most part it was, oh, she's a girl and into horny things. What? That was
that was the gimmick.
That was the whole thing, but the art was really nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I've got to say. I haven't read any
Just
more of it.
summarize the plot from there. So when you say adaptation, are we anime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a PV
JC
that's
stuff.
already so it's gonna look pretty nice.
Yeah.
Obviously I can't show you the PV because
It'll tell us off.
we'll get copyright stricken.
Yeah. Those dirty
I
bastards.
mean, also the PV doesn't really show a whole lot.
And it possibly may show stuff we probably shouldn't show on here.
Yep.
Yep. Right. So this is my homework, is it?
Yeah. Look, for anyone that wants to have a look, I'm going to put it in the comments section, so you can have a look on your own time. But yeah, that's kind of news.
That's news. There's a new horny anime.
Yay. And all the One Piece is on break until issue 40. So it's coming back on September 4th. That's not true. They've got the cover. No, they've got the cover and lead page coming out next week.
Right.
So they're coming out on the 28th.
Yeah.
So they are on break next week, but yeah, man, this year is going too fast, and I'm kind of lost when we are.
Yeah. Here's a little bit of news.
Shoot.
It's on 100.
Yes.
Taking all these little breaks, these little extensions. Are we getting our first taste of an anime studio going, hey, we need to take a little bit more time? So we're going to take a little bit more time.
It'll be done when it's done.
Yeah. I feel like that's what's happening here.
I kind of hope so.
I hope they're taking the pressure off the team because the animation isn't faltering. You know, it's holding up so well. And you know, when I watched those first few episodes, I'm just like, I don't know how they're going to maintain this for a full season on a week to week basis. So, and seeing some of the key animation and stuff for it, I'm just like, this is insanely detailed. I mean, their work is phenomenal, really, really nice. So I'm hoping that this studio is actually just taking its sweet time, and I hope everybody just supports that, and they don't get all toxic.
Yeah. Also, Sam, I just quickly had a look. So there is a delay for episode 6. However, it seems to be that it's because of the World Athletics Championships.
They're all chilling out in front of TV and watching the athletics.
Which will occur in Budapest from the 19th to the 27th. So I guess...
Is that just for airing in Japan, maybe? Because it's taking over the TV, so they can't... So they...
Probably.
Yeah.
So they're like, we choose ratings, we're going to delay it a week.
Yeah.
That, and also it's going to give them more time to work on stuff as well, I guess. So
I hope so.
Win. I don't know.
It is.
Have you caught up? Are you up to date with the 5 episodes that have been released?
I may have only watched up to 4.
Oh, okay. So the God, can't speak. The delay because of fish. You haven't watched episode 5 with the shark?
No, I've just seen a few shots from the animation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's still holding up incredibly well.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great. Even also, with just seeing the line work.
Stupid as hell.
Oh, yeah, and that's what's making it absolute gold. It's hilarious. I'm laughing my way through this series at
my God.
how not serious they're taking everything.
Dude,
everybody else in there is like on their last mental you know, line, and they're just like giggling their way through this zombie apocalypse. And they're the most sane people around.
I'm sorry. I'm just remembering a certain scene in I think it was episode 4. Yeah, because they're talking about how Akira wants to meet the girl of his dreams and
Yeah.
wine and dine a flight attendant, and his friends are like, "Well, I mean, zombie apocalypse, dude."
Good luck.
And they look down on the street level, and there's just a zombie that falls over. Sorry, she farts, pushes herself
Oh,
over.
that was had me in stitches. That was like a solid 30 seconds on screen. It was so unnecessary. And they're just watching over the balcony at her.
It was so stupid.
Goes, well, go on.
It was so dumb, but it was so fucking funny.
Oh yeah, it was it really was.
She falls over and she just keeps farting and like pushing herself forward, and the little clouds of color.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you're sleeping on Zom 100 and you love stupid shit, why just get onto it?
Or just some flat out stunning animation, and
Also
let's face
that
it, some amazing character writing.
Yeah.
This is the other thing.
It's
Even
not
though
it's
comedy.
not a zombie action series. It is a comedy character drama
Yeah.
set in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, that just plays a backdrop in the end.
Yeah. Well, it's if you notice, like it's a lot of it's kind of the metaphor for living your life and chasing your dreams.
This is the most zombie movie that's been since well, a long time. Because zombies were always designed as a metaphor as the man, the system. Yeah.
Kind of the only one that comes to my mind.
Well, the original Dawn of the Dead was designed as
but in terms of like comedy as well aspects.
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead is probably the closest thing. It was probably also an inspiration for it at some point. So it's but it's man, it's on a whole nother level. It really is.
Episode 5 is probably my favorite so far, only because we do get Serious Girl come back.
Yeah.
And I really like the juxtaposition between the two of them, like having the
silly goofiness.
Well, the girl that's trying to survive versus the guys that are trying to live.
And if you don't understand the difference between those two things, then maybe you should be watching Zom 100.
100%.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the whining and dining with the
it was a really like it was such a good episode all around. And I knew when they opened up with the fart thing, and then they did the explosion while they would jump in on the motorbike. I'm just like, oh man, I'm so in for it, because it was just like pure action and insanity for the first 5 minutes, and then they end up inside this random store that was full of flight attendants.
I love it. It's so they don't take it seriously as well. It's just like, this is what he wants, and this is what's gonna happen.
And then he chugs a whole bottle of tequila
through his nose.
The whole thing was great. It was a really good episode. But yes, I'll watch number 5 very soon.
It's fastly become. It's one of my favorites. Not just of the season, but just of all time at this point. Makes me really want to check out Alice in Borderland, because I think it's the same creator.
That doesn't surprise me too much, though. Alice in Borderland is a lot more psychological,
darker, grounded sort of thing.
Yeah, because it's a death game sort of scenario. So if it
Yeah,
is the same guy,
I know very little about it.
I've watched the live action version on Netflix. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
He has a interesting collection of works under his belt.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Alice in Borderland and Zom 100 are the only two that, and Hide and Closer are the only three that have their own wikis. But there's one that's called Sex Chan, so make of that what you will.
I may have read that.
Of course you have. It only came out last year.
Yeah, okay. Maybe not.
And apparently
Maybe not.
my internet doesn't want to Google it,
Doesn't
which
want to load.
no.
Oh, well.
I don't necessarily blame it either.
Been a big day. Big day. That's right.
Yeah. So his first serialization was back in 2007. Ran for about a year. It was a adventure fantasy comedy.
Adventure fantasy.
Honestly, it looks kind of it looks interesting, but also kind of generic.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people's early work is generic. That's, you know, if you want to make it,
No, yeah,
yeah,
not to sound horrible.
but it looks like the work of a mangaka that early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also was a big fan of, I don't know, what's that style? It's that sort of early 2000s kind of.
Well, yeah, 2007.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
it's in
Yeah.
there. So it kind of is giving me like Negima vibes.
Yeah.
It's also in
Yu-Gi-Oh.
it's in the whole magical
Yeah.
magician, sorcerer king. Um yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Might be
you gotta
funny.
crawl.
Yeah, so he's
That
got a bit
is
of stuff under his belt. So
just the first thing that came up when I googled sex chan. I should not be surprised was Pornhub.
see, that's what
Alice in
happened when
Borderland.
Google goes back through your search history.
Uh-huh. Surprising no one, it is a adult manga series.
Yeah.
Um
Is it at least a fantasy or a sci-fi?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't honestly find like this article just talks a lot
That's all
about
right.
Alice in Borderland.
That's right. I think we've milked this out a little bit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I did
Um,
find
what's this?
that's
It's gonna
Sex
be a
Chan.
picture. Oh, okay.
That's
See,
it.
his art style's completely changed.
Yeah.
But that's more recent, though, isn't it?
That's because it's not. Wait.
When did you say this came in? Was it after
So
or
this was
before
last
Alice in
year.
Borderland? So it's last year.
Well,
So in between Zom 100.
I can't figure out what what he did on it though, because
Ah.
it's written or illustrated under a different name.
Going under a pen name. Good work, man.
I think he just does the writing side of things.
Right.
I could be wrong.
So
Yeah, okay, yeah, no. He retired from illustrating. He did the story for Zom 100 in October 2018 and Know You Girl in August 2021. So but then Sex Chan is written by someone like it. The name that's on it could very well be a pen name as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. Retired from artwork.
Yeah.
That's a similar topic to another
Segue?
conversation we should
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of retiring from artwork, there's been a
I
lot of
mean,
talk,
yeah.
a lot of talk, a lot of speculation, and it's mainly because of the interview he had recently, and we're talking about
How recent was it, by the way?
Like recent, weeks ago. That's when it was released. I don't know when it was actually done. Well, Tatsuki Fujimoto, of course, one of our favorite mangakas, has publicly announced that he would like to stop drawing the picture and only write the word.
Which is... It's a translated article, and I wonder whether or not it was slightly taken out of context, only judging by what... I mean, was it Look Back? Yeah, it was Look Back, wasn't it? Just going off the story from Look Back, I wonder whether or not it's more he doesn't want to do weekly serialization.
Yeah.
Or if it's just in general he doesn't want to do art anymore.
Yeah, it's a hard, because it's basically the fact that either he chooses not to have assistants at the moment, or he feels that he has a more comfortable life not having assistants.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's sort of, you got to give one for another. So either you get peak level manga or you get a comfortable lifestyle. You can't have both, apparently.
Yeah. So it came out like, apparently you weren't too surprised, but I was a bit shocked that Fujimoto hasn't had assistance since Look Back, and that was a while ago now. So all of part 2 has been solo on a weekly, bi-weekly sort of basis. And I mean, yeah, the art has dipped
I've been
a
saying it
little
for
bit.
weeks. I've been
I
saying it for weeks.
know.
And
But it still baffles me. Like that's a lot of work.
It is, but it could also it's tricky because if he's using backgrounds from previous drawings and inputting, because he works digitally and he puts them in afterwards. So, in theory, assistants primarily work on backgrounds and screen tones and all the grunt labor, essentially. But with digital, you can do that stuff so much quicker.
Yeah.
Laying down screen tone is just changing your brush. So it's no longer having to cut things out and paste things on and white out and all that sort of stuff. So the workload is much smaller than what it was before. And, coming from that perspective, if I was a mangaka and I was asked to produce 14 pages in a week, I could do it solo. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be mentally healthy for it later on, because it would put so much strain and stress on me to produce that kind of work on a regular basis that you would have to choose between life or manga, which is what most of them are doing now. And one of the reasons that Fujimoto's come out and said this is because they shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to be able to, you shouldn't have to choose between doing what you love and living your life. It's kind of a disgusting system that's been around for a really long time, like so many other systems that we're currently still living by. We've got to start breaking these systems down systematically to get better results, happier people, and better stories. more originality, higher quality work, all that stuff. I mean, look at Trojan X, man. That
That is
guy's
a very
smashing
good
it.
segue.
Yeah.
Segue that yeah, I don't know. I was going to I was going to bring it up. Well, actually, so I sent you through. Well, we've been talking about it off screen a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And recently, I've seen a lot of people picking it up and talking about the whole thing. I say fellow anime YouTuber like we have like anywhere near the same amount of following. He's actually Australian, which I only found out not long ago, and I don't know how I didn't. But anyway, Sufferance, the one that I sent through to you the other day,
Yeah.
that was what he mentioned. Sui Ishida has a much better, I guess, work-life balance negotiated through whoever it is who is. I know Viz is publishing it over here, but I don't know if it's a Jump title. I don't fully understand how. I haven't actually looked into it.
I think it's just like my name is big enough. You guys can just deal with what I produce when I
Yeah.
produce it. And I guess they will they've started releasing Tankaban?
Surely. They'd have to
Surely
at
they
this
have.
point, right?
Yeah. And whether they're releasing it, I hope they're releasing it in the SIG format, the signature format, which is the
It
larger format.
Yeah, they have, and I would assume that they would because that's what they did for Tokyo Ghoul as well. Oh man, those covers look so nice. I'm gonna share so that you all can
Yeah,
look at it
you
as
show
well.
me those juicy covers.
So you've got the
Yeah.
title thing that we've all seen, and then we've got Ellie when it decides to want to load.
Man, I love those cover designs. They're so
Yeah,
good. Having that plain text on the white like that, and then just the image in the border, it
it's
looks
good.
so good.
And then we've got a Mystery Man. For people who aren't caught up, do it.
Do it.
So yeah, I
Mystery
and
Man. Towel around the head guy.
I love the watercolor art that he does for his covers. Tokyo Ghoul was the same. It was so pretty. Yeah. What were we talking about? I got distracted by pretty art. Oh
No,
yeah,
we were talking about the pace,
yeah.
the
Release
movement
schedule.
towards release schedules, and the pressure to keep producing material with so many big titles closing up this year. You know, they're in a hurry to find the next big thing.
It, I feel like either okay. So I feel like the weekly manga release schedule is greatly outdated. Massively radicalizing opinion, I know. If they want to continue doing a weekly magazine, have enough to rotate the manga bi-weekly.
Yeah.
At
Yep.
the least.
Please.
At the least.
Bi-weekly is good. If you're releasing 14 pages, bi-weekly is good. That gives you enough time to output that kind of work with planning ahead.
Yeah.
Says the guy, it takes freaking 6 months to do 60 pages. But
however, that's for starters, that's 60 pages, not 14.
Yeah.
But also you had to juggle doing
this is the thing. It's not my
everything
full-time
else.
job. I've got a
Exactly.
full-time job. I've got a family. I got a life. And unfortunately, that life produces more money than my comic books do. So that goes on the back burner while I I do everything else. And these guys eat, live, breathe manga. So seriously, 24 hours a day, they could be drawing 24 hours a day because
I mean,
that's their responsibility.
Oda's sleep schedule and whatnot has come
Oh
out,
my
and
god, that man is psychotic.
yes, and we can only assume that that's the upper tier commitment, I would hope. And it is self-destructive as hell.
Yeah, he needs to have a very long conversation with Rumiko of Renma Half, and she's got an absolutely phenomenal schedule that has her producing her pages in the first 4 days of the week.
Yeah.
Without losing too much.
Oh, okay.
In the
I
process.
wasn't fully aware of what her schedule looked like.
Oh, she
I just
released a
know that.
schedule last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was rather fascinating because I'd heard about all these people's schedules. You know, they go to bed at 7 in the afternoon, in the evening, and they'll get up at 3 and start working from 3 o'clock right through to noon, and then they'll have a nap or something, and then they'll get back to work till 7, and then they've got all these weird schedules that happen instead of just being a regular day, and I don't know why. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, I know personally, like, if I was left to my own devices to be able to create and not have to work or interact with other people, my schedule would probably look a little bit similar to that, except I'd be working more nights than I would be days. I seem to work better at night than I do during the day. I don't know why
Oh.
that is.
I'm on and off there. Sometimes I will literally like just physically pass out at 8 o'clock in the evening, and some days I'll be up till 4 a.m. because I'm just wired and my brain's going and doesn't want to stop. So yeah, it varies a lot from person to person, I think. And once you get a schedule down and you put your body in that schedule, it should rhythmically maintain itself, unless that schedule is destructive. Not getting enough sleep, not
Not
eating
eating
enough, not that
well,
sort of stuff. Yeah.
not moving enough, and a lot of creative jobs are sedentary. Um,
Okay, so Rumiko's schedule.
I remember hearing. Sorry, just to cut you off
Yeah,
real quick.
that's right.
I remember hearing like the psychology. Because Aaron says that he's a night rider as well. I remember hearing that. I can't remember where it was. It was might have been like on a YouTube video or something, either a psychology or some. I watch a lot of random shit. That it has a lot to do with either if you're writing at night while you're tired, you have a lot of your inhibitions removed, and you're not analyzing yourself as much. So you're allowed to allow that creativity to flow a lot more without second guessing yourself. And also the other side of it being that it's a little bit more, you're able to be a bit more insular, where like at nighttime everyone else is kind of shut away, quiet, sort of. Ah, man, I can't remember. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
It's a
cool.
quiet time.
Yeah,
It's a quiet time. Your brain is switched off because there are no responsibilities left,
yeah. Thank you.
and all you can do or want to do is just spew onto the page. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a mechanism of creativity at that point, so you can continue sort of pushing along without having to worry about your day-to-day tasks. The washing is done. You know, you've eaten dinner. You've done a
Less
poop. Everything's out of
distractions.
the way. Yeah, all it is you and the words in front. And the same thing with art. You know, once you start pushing that and you start putting that pen to the page, it just flows out. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is or what you were doing beforehand. I mean, the amount of times I've gone, yeah, I'm about to start doing that thing, and then I'll sit down and just remember what I was going to draw. And once I start that, everything else is pushed to the side. I can
Yeah.
sit there for a solid hour and completely forget about the entire world at that point. If something I needed to put on a page needed to be put on the page. Yeah.
Thanks for
Everything
the
goes on
rescue, man.
pause. I knew what you meant.
I'm glad that you knew what I meant, because my brain just grinded to a halt. I was like, I had the flow of what I was saying, and then all of a sudden it was just like dropped off. I'm
It's just
like,
it
oh.
disappeared from your head. It's
I'm
like,
like,
what was
ah,
I saying again?
Who am I? Where am I? Oh, we're doing a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and your weird, either you're hyper focus or you're not here at all.
Tell me about it.
Oh man. So it's, you know, these schedules that they keep putting out and
Oh, that's right.
showing
You were
us.
about to talk about Rumiko.
Yeah, I was about to talk about Rimiko's schedule. You know, she has a relatively normal day, you know. She has a few days where she'll sleep um like in the evening and stay up at night, which seems to be a common thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, 9 a.m. temporarily stop working to go to bed. So, okay, so the day before noon, do inking for 7 or 8 pages of character artwork. So she clearly does a lot of character work before doing the backgrounds. Noon, eat lunch, do housework. 4 p.m., relax. She's got read.
Nice.
Yeah, chill out. 7 p.m., eat dinner, do housework. 9 p.m., back to art. Now, this
And
is
I
where
mean,
things get a little bit scary. 9 p.m.,
uh-oh.
get back to art. Next day, 9 a.m., temporarily stop working. That is 12 hours of working. Right, she'll take breaks. No doubt she'll take breaks. Rumiko's not a young person anymore, so her schedule is a little bit more defined and a little bit easier on the body, I guess. So 9 a.m. she temporarily stops working to go to bed. She sleeps from 9 till noon. What's that? 3 hours? She has a nap. It's not even a proper sleep. Gets up, eats lunch, and then starts drawing again. There you go.
So this is Otis.
That's destructive, my friend.
Yep. He sleeps from apparently 1 hour on a Monday.
Storyboards.
The
Oh, come on, Oda.
entire thing. He does this. Okay, so he goes from free time on a Saturday for 3 hours.
Okay, kids, you can see Dad for 3 hours of the week. Of the week.
Oh no. Submits manuscript, storyboard meeting for 2 hours, scenario plans. This is like going into midnight on Saturday. Then he goes to sleep for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so he goes to sleep for 8 hours. Wakes up at 8 a.m., has breakfast, storyboards up until 5 a.m. Monday, and then goes to sleep for 2 hours, has breakfast, continues storyboarding until 6, has an editor meeting, finishes up the storyboard into Tuesday morning at 5 a.m., has another editor meeting, goes to sleep for 7 hours, has lunch, and
Storyboard
then
Tuesday.
starts illustrating. Oh,
does his
so
color
that's where he does
Yeah.
the color illustrations,
When he has a color illustration to do
which is
most weeks.
more often than not. Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep, and then it's
We're talking about the insane work schedules of the mangakas.
yeah. This is
And
not just any spreadsheet. This is
this is Oda's. So this is like what I would assume is the most destructive. I would hope. And I say that
I don't think it is.
I know.
I really don't think it is, because he's got assistants, and we know for a fact that there are
Yeah.
quite a few mangaka out there that don't have assistants to help. So
Also, I don't know.
I just noticed that it says assistants arrive
Ah,
at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, but it looks like they don't leave until 5 a.m. on Saturday.
that's right.
Poor
uh,
bastards.
actually, no. This is Shibashi Hiroshi's schedule during an unspecified week. So, unless this is
Oh, wait a
referencing
minute.
someone else's. Um,
There's no for his
oh, this
usual
is.
working time.
Oh, okay. So yeah, unlike Oda, is scattered. Because Oda only sleeps from
Sleeps
5 in the
3 hours.
morning. Yeah, works up
Yeah,
until
because
5.
he has sleep deprivation.
Yeah,
He actually has like medical condition. He has a lot of trouble sleeping. Um, and I think that's because his body's been so conditioned over the years that it just
yeah.
physically can't shut down. So I'd say Oda's is
Mm,
worse than that.
yeah. I mean,
But to see, I
he's
mean,
sleeping. Yeah, I guess that goes to show that yeah, it's pretty across the board.
these people are destroying themselves for our entertainment.
As
What
they
is
should.
this, Colosseum? As they should be. We're just standing in the stands, throwing meat to the lions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's great.
mean, they have excellent works. Oh man.
I know it makes you feel bad to really be enjoying what they're doing at the same time. If they could just do it at the pace that they need to.
What's
Yeah.
Ghost Sport?
Ghost Sport?
Yeah,
Ghost
I don't
Sport?
know. I don't know what Ghost Sport is, Dabalas.
I'm not familiar with it either.
Is that like? No, I got
It's a
nothing.
thing.
Yeah.
You can type it in if you like. Yeah. So that's enough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Hospitality work. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah, look,
And yeah,
you're not
that
wrong, Aaron. These people have been providing us with an enormous amount of content for many, many years, and will continue to do so. All I'm asking is that they loosen up a little bit, put more titles on, put it on a bi-weekly rotation, so we're getting something different each week, which means you've got your on week and your off week.
and they could
Eventually
spread
it will.
their main titles across.
That's
Like if
right.
they
They'll have
split what they've
more
currently got
titles.
in half, that way you're still having the on and off week with some of your heavy hitters.
That's right. And eventually they'll start, A week, B week clubs, and then they'll start versing each other in the streets. It'll be great.
Mm.
Then it'll just be another
Um,
title in a manga. I think that there's better ways to do it. There's other manga magazines out there that are doing a better job, I would say, than the Shonen's Weekly. Because anytime you see these schedules coming up, it's always in reference to Shonen Jump Weekly.
Yeah.
Because it looks like they are the ones that are pressing the hardest for this particular type of schedule, which is painful. I hope they fix it. They never will. I hope Fujimoto starts his own magazine and just destroys.
Actually, let's do some back of the napkin maths.
You have a napkin?
Yeah, isn't that the term?
Which side's the back?
So when you've got the cup on your napkin, it's on the other side of it, so there's no.
So there's no ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, but you got to use the ring to or highlight a particular word in the sequence.
All right. To give a rough guesstimation of the fiscal year of 2021, granted, this is down from the year before. Do you like how I'm like skirting around numbers?
Well, you can only do what you have in front of you.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to like build up for the reveal. So in the fiscal year of 2021, Shueisha Incorporated recorded a net sales result of about 195.2 billion yen, which is roughly $302 million Australian.
It's a bit of cash, and that's net.
That's net.
Yeah.
And that's down 5.8 billion yen compared to the previous fiscal year. So that's a bad year for them.
And we know where all this money's going. We know where it's all going. It's going to the executives in their chairs. One Piece is making all the money.
Yeah, it's going straight to Oda.
No, he's not getting the money.
No, he's not.
Not the amount that the company's getting, but he's probably doing okay.
So even though I said that that's a bad year for them, from 2012, they made like 125 billion yen. Their last worst year was 2019 at 152 billion yen. So like it's still like it's gone up another 50 billion yen in like a year and then walked back a little bit. Like it's still ridiculous amounts of numbers. Like they can afford to.
Yeah, they can afford to hire more people, do more things. For one, if you're going to make your artists hire their own assistants, pay them more. Really.
Yeah.
Because that system is just, that does my head in. It's the fact that, they have to hire their own assistants. I just assumed they were given assistants by the company.
Dapper says, sorry, artists, we only earned $1 billion. Guess you're going to have to pay yourselves. Yeah, that's pretty much, that's the, yeah.
That's why we've got all these strikes happening at the moment. It's getting to the point where the creatives are starting to go, we're not getting what we deserve.
And like you said, it is going to the higher ups, and realistically, what do they do?
Nothing.
Comparatively to what is actually like, yes, you may have the platform, and yes, you may make the machine turn, but realistically, anyone could do that.
If you were to remove Oda, the magazine would almost stop in its tracks.
Yes.
If you were to remove 15 executives from the seats upstairs, the magazine would keep going.
Yep.
So you really got to, they need to weigh up their worth. Anybody with their feet on the ground is worth their weight in gold, as far as I'm concerned.
How did we get to?
I don't know. It's
we pretty much
eat the rich. Yes. Yes. But remember, Douglas, we only need to eat one. The rest
But
of
that's
them will
right.
fall in line.
Yeah, how did we get to reading the Communist Manifesto on stream?
Sorry.
I know that's
It's
not
my
what it's
anarchy
about.
at work again.
Dapalas is gonna like jump on me for that one. It was a joke. I know I'm misusing the oh man, my brain broke again.
Oh, no. Okay, on to the next thing then.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right. I was gonna shit on a title.
Our
Now
favorite
that
thing to do.
now that we've had our heavy segment of the industry needs an overhaul, um, hang on, let me bring it up. So I recently jumped on. Actually, you know what, Logan?
Just one thing at a time.
I know. Um, goddamn red bastards. We are the Red Menace.
We put the yellow banner up to confuse people.
uh, um, how much of Hell's Paradise have you watched? This is not what
You
I'm.
know,
This is not what I'm pooping on, by the way.
I know you shouldn't. Um, I've only watched 2 episodes, to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones where I've gone, I know this is gonna be epic, and I've told everybody to watch it, and then the steam kind of fell out because I'm like, I've already read this.
Yeah, like, I know what happens. It's
I know
good,
what
but I
happens. I
mean,
like watching this sort of stuff and not knowing what's happening.
yeah,
So, it happens
that's
all the time. I'll read the manga and I'll end up just not watching the anime because more often than not, it's better.
it's the benefit of one having I guess a partner that doesn't like reading manga but likes watching anime. I can be like, yeah, I can show you this, and then we can finally fucking talk about it. Or I've forgotten what happens since
Yeah,
I finished reading it, so I get to kind of have a refresher by watching it all move.
yeah.
I actually just caught up with season one. It ends with so where I remember when I was reading it that I was really enjoying it. Like you've got all the body horror, the gorgeous artwork, the ninjas and samurais and all this cool shit. And I remember like really vibing it and was like, this is really cool. And then they started throwing in the psychological mystery side of it, and that's where it, like, really got its hooks in, and I absolutely fell in love with the series. Um, so for the majority of season 1, and I would say the first arc of, Hell's Paradise, it's pretty stock standard. Like, it's an action adventure series.
Hmm.
It's very gory. The battles are fantastically choreographed. It's got a little bit of supernatural elements in there. Um,
A little bit.
I know. It doesn't. He's got a ninja that's practically immortal from the very beginning.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. um, and like it's not anything. It's very edgy. But it doesn't do anything spectacular to sort of like set itself apart up until a certain part in the series, which is where the first season
Yeah,
cuts off. So you get introduced to the MC. He's known as Gabimaru the Hollow. He's an emotionless ninja, just a killing machine, except he has a wife that he wants to get back to. And it's actually his like the reason why he can't be executed is because he still clings to life to see her again. So when he gets offered a pardon to essentially what is the shogun's pardon?
yeah,
I
yeah.
stuck on like presidential pardon.
Close enough.
Like it's the turkey pardon from Rick and Morty essentially. Um uh which is I actually know the story behind that now, which makes a lot more sense after watching all the Turkey Pardon episodes. I'm getting very distracted. Thank you, Logan. So he goes to the island to find the elixir of life for the Shogun to get said pardon, so he could go back to just
him by himself.
Well, that's the premise of the first episode. Then it turns out
there's like a whole bunch of them that go.
Yeah, but that's only in episode 2 that it's revealed.
No, I thought it was in 1.
Nah, episode 1's just him. And then they go to the meeting place and they show off all the other convicts and samurai.
You see, I'm getting 1 and 2. They're all squiggled together. Yeah. It just mushes because it's back to back story wise. You could literally just cut out the OP and and that and just squish them together and just be one really long episode. Because it flows so well.
I think episode 2 literally ends with them going to the island. Like episode 3
heading off.
Episode 3 is them
on the
shore.
No, I think 3 is when they start to head to the island because they do the whole murder moment in number 2.
Yeah, the culling of the numbers.
And then they assign everyone, and then they head.
Episode 3 is where they hit the island, and everything's gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
And so like that's the whole premise, right? And they really emphasize that Gabimaru is in love with his wife, and the wife is changing him for the better. And the whole power system is like a balance of yin and yang. So like strong and weak. Weak is the seed for the strong, and strong is something. Watch the show. I can't remember.
Deeply ingrained in your thought there.
Yeah, man, it's been a long week already. And then at the end of this season, they drop the bombshell that maybe Gabimaru has been hoodwinked by his ninja village, that his wife isn't real. And there's like a lot of like cool mystery shit that starts going down, and it's really good. And I was wondering where they were going to end season 1, and it ends on a pretty good high note.
It's not that long a series though, is it? It's like 120 chapters.
Yeah,
maybe 140.
No, probably not even actually.
No. It was pretty short because it ran almost parallel to Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
And they ended pretty much at the same time as well.
13 tankobons.
Okay.
Which, about 116.
15. And...
Oh, wait, no, 127. There we go.
Yeah. So that's 2 seasons. They'll wrap up next season.
No way in hell. There was only 12 episodes.
Ah, that's why. Sorry, I'm so used to a season
25.
24.
Yeah, 24, 25. Yeah.
25 plus the swimsuit episode. Yeah.
That's right. I reckon we'll probably have like 4 seasons of Hell's Paradise.
Yeah. If they keep up with the 12 ep formula.
Yep. I kind of really hope that they OVA the extra chapter that we got released.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
As like an epilogue. That'd be really nice.
Wouldn't be an OVA though. But yes, I get.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Just
the term doesn't really mean what it used to mean anymore.
It's original video animation.
I know, but it's not used
as in
that
it's
way
not
anymore.
Derived from a source material.
I'm aware.
It's filler.
But it's not.
In this particular case, it's just a bonus story. And it'd be nice, yes, if they just did a bonus story. and that would be good. Because that was a really cool chapter.
It was. It
Mm.
was. I had to remember it, like my brain was just like, "Hey, what happened again?" All I remembered was kids and farming.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was pretty much what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been watching that, and I have been watching a show that I can't remember. I keep forgetting the name of it. Sinduality Noir. Sinduality Noir. It's a new series
That
that's
is such an edgy title.
yeah. Well, I thought it might be a little bit edgy. I was going in thinking it was going to be a bit edgy because it's got a cool sci-fi sort of logo to it with a triangle. It's got a triangle in the logo, so it's got to be good.
Well, we love them angles.
That's right. But it turns out it's actually pretty lighthearted. So it's set in the future. The world has been destroyed. Everybody lives in these little hive communities under domes.
Is this it?
This is the one. They live in these little domed communities. That's
Is it a game as well?
Man, it's based on a game. Oh, or has it been released at the same time? Maybe it got released at the same time.
I don't know.
It says 23.
Yeah. Tell us about it. Well,
yeah, so it's a series about these contracted hunters that go out to extract crystals that they use for a power source in these big domed facilities. And the reason that these people go out is because there's all these monsters that roam the land and try to eat people and destroy things. And now and then they'll attack the facilities, but the facilities are heavily guarded, so they destroy all the monsters. But going out to get the crystals is the dangerous part because it's, usually just a small team of people doing it. So we follow our MC. He's a part of a duo, so there's only two of them that go out and do these hunts, and they use these mecha to drive around in. So they're called a drifter pilot, and they drive these drifter pilots, these drifter units with a secondary brain, which is usually an AI component. So it's an android, essentially, called a Magus, and the Magus is tuned to the person. The Magus sits in the back of the unit, and they sit in the front while they pilot. The Magus looks after all the calculations, makes everything run smoothly, predicts paths, and does all that sort of stuff, while the human thinks on the fly and does flary stuff. It's a kind of cool concept. I like the concept.
I think I'm about to get really mad and tell everybody that the game actually isn't released anywhere outside of Japan.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens.
No. Yeah, I know it happens a lot. I thought we were past this.
So anyway, we found out it starts off like real quick. I'm just like, normally they sort of lean into it a bit, but you get literally dropped into an environment where the MC finds a girl on an altar surrounded by roses. I'm just like, this is instantly edgy, right? They're in this like church-like place, and this girl's just laying there in these roses. I'm like, oh, here we go. And then they get attacked by monsters, and his friend comes in and saves him from the monsters. And just as I thought it was going to get, some real big action going on, the action's kind of okay. It's all 3D because it's mech, and nobody draws mech anymore, apparently.
I know. Why is that? It's kind of
because it's time consuming, and there isn't many people in the industry that can do it really well. So anyway, you get this little sequence of his friend fending off all these monsters coming in to attack them, while in the background the MC is dragging the body of the girl back to their van. So it's got this like quirky comedy to it. And when they finally get her up and going again because she's an android. They get her up and going. She's lost her memory, completely devoid of memory. So,
How convenient.
yeah, and of course, she's also a what they call a zero unit. So she's a pre-war unit, which means
Is
she's like
this
200 years old, kind of thing.
is this Zoids reskinned?
I think so, a little bit.
I mean, I'm digging everything you've been saying so far, and I kind of also
Yeah,
want to play it. And Bandai Namco publish some
they
pretty
do
good
some good
stuff.
stuff. Yeah,
Because they did. I mean, there's only 6 episodes of this out so far.
yeah.
What's your overall take? Because
My
the
take on
only
it is it's
other
fun.
okay.
It's not serious. It's not trying to be something spectacular. It's just fun.
The thing I was going to compare it to that I could think of that has done this recently ish in the last couple of years would have been Scarlet Nexus, except
They
I
fudged up the anime, right?
yeah. The game was pretty fun. I haven't finished it, but that's pretty normal for me because ADD.
I too have that game, and I'm pretty sure that I've clocked a good half an hour in it
Yeah, but you have
before I
other
found something
excuses.
else.
You're a dad.
Yeah, I know. Ah,
We'll go
yeah.
we'll go
Eventually,
with
I'll get
those
around
responsibilities.
it.
I
Yeah, I
honestly
have an excuse.
completely forgot that I had
Yeah.
it.
And now you can
Had
remember and go back to it.
left my brain
So
completely.
if anybody's looking for something just light-hearted but still decent character writing development kind of angle, because the characters have passed, they've got a little bit of depth to them. The MC is in a position where he's no good at piloting from the beginning, and he still isn't. He hasn't been given some special pass
Oh,
to
okay.
become really good at it. The girl that he found is really good, so her
Uh,
abilities are amazing, but he doesn't know how to use it properly. So it's going to be that growth of getting better over time. Meanwhile, his friend that he travels with is like top ranked.
it's
So
hot shit.
he just destroys. So the MC's like, he's just destroyed like 2 monsters. He's like, yeah, that was like a tough battle and we really got through it. And he turns around and his friend's standing on like 50 bodies. He's like, oh, it's all right, I got this handled over here.
Um, so it looks like they've got a bit of a stacked lineup. Bandai Namco.
It's
They've
nothing
got
new.
I know they've got Sandland coming.
Yep.
They've got a Naruto Ninja Storm cross with Naruto's son.
Who's that again?
I've forgotten his name.
Boruto.
No, it
No.
escapes me.
Yeah. Erase that one from your mind.
They've also
Filler
got
show.
yeah. They've also got the Armored Core series coming back
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that's pretty hot at the moment, isn't it? There's a lot of people
Well,
talking about that.
it's from Soft's return to form, man. Like
Mm.
it's what they did before Dark Souls and stuff. So I'm interested to see what that's going to look like, if it's going to be for me.
Well, it's going
Because
to be another riveting story, no doubt. Because Armored Core, the storylines are always quite good.
I always get Armored Core mixed up in my mind brain with Front Mission Evolved, which was
Which is also a really good story.
yes, but it was much more strategy,
Yeah.
tactical based. Whereas I think
Yeah.
Armored Core was a lot more. Pew, 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 pew,
Yeah.
pew.
Strafing and shooting. Yeah.
Whereas my brain was all like, "Oh, we gotta just play chess and just build our mechs."
Which you also
Yeah,
loved.
yeah, I did. That was
Yeah.
back on like PS1. God, that makes me feel
No.
old.
What, you were
old.
like 5 when you had a
I
PS1,
know.
right? You know when I got my PS1 for my 16th birthday. And they just come out.
Oh no. Yeah, they've also got Sword Art Online. They are pumping out so many of those
Yeah,
games.
they're a
Christ.
big bloody company. They really are.
Uh,
They're
and
too,
Sin Duality fits in there as well
mm,
somewhere. So I jumped
and
the gun.
you,
Apparently, we are getting it, but it's just 2023. So I'm
yeah,
seeing this as like a advertisement as well as its own thing.
yeah, a lead in.
Adaptation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cross promotion.
if the game's as good as the series is, oh, I'd probably enjoy it.
Yeah. Um where did I oh hang on. It looks like a where did I see it? Oh, I think it's gonna have like MMO elements, which I don't know how I feel
Uh,
about that because
yeah.
I had to give up that drug when I became an adult.
I lost interest in MMO stuff. I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I it's a bad hyperfixation for me. It's pretty much it
It's a
becomes
bad habit.
everything.
Yeah.
Um it's going to be third person shooter. I don't know if it's a small multiplayer uh, like a I'd say max of like 4 to 5 players, I could deal with that. But
Yeah.
anything bigger than that scope wise, I can't do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Got too
No.
much manga to read.
That's right. We're too busy. We're
Oh
watching,
yeah,
we're reading.
man, we are getting so sidetracked tonight.
That's right. We were still talking about the game, which was linked
Yeah,
to the anime. So, that's
yeah.
not too bad.
But that
It's not too
I'm
bad.
gonna have to chuck that one on my
Yeah.
list because
Go and
that
go
sounds
have a
kind
look.
of that sounds fun.
Just when you're burnt
Um,
out from all the violence and the weird stuff, you just chuck that on.
it really was like kind of throwing me back to like Zoids and
Man, that was a good series.
something else around that sort of. I can't quite put my finger on it.
And Zoids? No, they're a different brand. So they're not Bandai. They're Kotobukiya, I believe.
Oh.
Do Zoids. So it'll be a different company doing that. That's the nerd coming out in me there. That's
Wow.
the plastic models and that sort of stuff. That's what's happening there.
Mecha
Uh,
Bonica? Wow.
yeah, don't dive down that hole.
Yep.
You'll be
Thank
gone
you.
forever.
I'm getting out of there.
Yeah. What else? What else? What else? I've been rewatching Crybaby.
No, we'll put a pin in that.
No,
Yeah.
you did.
What
Hello.
I don't Hey Nikki, I don't know what that is. Is that a raccoon? It's very small. It's
It's
on Twitch.
someone looking
Oh,
through
it's the
binoculars.
binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go full screen because on my monitor it just looked like
Yeah.
the raccoon stripe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
oh, it's a fox.
It's a fox. There you
It's just a different kind of trash panda, right?
go.
It's trash cat.
You're
Yeah,
gonna make me watch this, aren't you?
I am. So
Dude, it's got four and a
Rain.
half stars. It's not even like to the level of our favorite anime.
Cheat skill.
Yeah.
So I I shortlist a lot of my anime nowadays.
Where was that going? What are
Sorry,
you
I
what are you
read Daphalis's comment before putting it up, and yeah, Well, I honestly completely forgot what I was talking about before I read it too.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah.
You were saying you were shortlisting some shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
I have to shortlist my anime because of the amount of stuff that comes out. So I have a couple of YouTubers and stuff that I watch that do like best of the season, ones to look out for. Um, and there's one in particular that does that, but also does the hottest trash. So he kind of
Yeah, they're my
balances it out
favorite
a bit.
ones.
Cheat skill should I think was on the hottest trash. I
It was
lost a bit of
indeed.
respect for one of the other YouTubers that I watched that was all like, you should watch Cheat Skill because it looks good. I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, it's not.
You haven't watched even one episode of said.
Check yourself.
So what's
Although,
this all about? Tell me
so
what this is all about.
I got recommended this by Mother's Basement, who said that this was if you grew up reading Harry Potter in your formative years, that you should give this a look. And I went into it thinking it was going to be super edgy Harry Potter um, anime style. And I mean, for the most part, it is. I would say its highlight is its world building and its magic system seems pretty cool for the little bit that they show a lot but don't really tell a lot in
Hmm.
the first two episodes. So there's um they use swords instead of magic wands, so that's cool. Um
Stabby stabby's a much better option than casting spells.
I know, right? So 80% only 80% of the student body will actually graduate. The other 20% will probably die. Um and out of that 80%, there's no real guarantee that you're going to come out unscathed. So edgy as heck. Um
I want those numbers turned around. Then I'll watch.
All right. I
Only
was kind of
20%
I
survive.
was kind of hoping that that was going to be the case, but
Yeah. But it
um
looks looking at the animation, it looks too light-hearted for that.
well, okay, so the big thing that happens in the first episode is these two argue and I'm selling it. Just hear me out.
Wow.
Uh
Paint by
so
numbers right there.
so girl over Hermione over here is talking about how she believes that all magical creatures, she's basically Hermione Peter. She's like, trolls deserve rights, we shouldn't use them for slave labor and whatnot.
No,
And
they
then
like it.
and then and then Ron Weasley over here is all like, I come from a farming background and trolls suck and they destroy our fields. And then she's all like, yeah, but whose fields were they before they were yours? And then someone that overhears them arguing, I'm assuming, decides to cast a spell on Hermione and makes her run headfirst into the troll to test out whether or not trolls are good or not. Troll just wrecks a magical wolf, like just smoosh, um, and is about to smoosh her as well. And then, hang on, is she in the? um, So not our Harry Potter MC in the middle here, but the exchange student to the left of him, uh, Cho Chang. There we go. Keeping the joke running. um, who is the transfer student from Asia? How they pronounce it in the dub for some reason, and it kind of grated me every single time they said it. Like, just call it Asia. It's fine. She's a samurai, so she comes over and she's got a katana as her magic sword wand. Um, and she jumps in front of the troll, and her hair changes color, and she bonks it on the head. Because
What, with her sword?
with her sword, because she forgot that her sword doesn't actually have a blade.
So it's not a sword.
And
It's just a handle.
no, it has a blade. It's just blunt. It doesn't have
Ah,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
So
it
none
doesn't
of the
have.
swords cut?
It doesn't have an edge. There we go. That's the proper term. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've only watched 2 episodes, and I'm like, what the fuck even is
This
this?
is lacking edge for an edgy series.
I know. It's like it is honestly super edgy
It's PG
without
edge.
the edge.
Yeah. It's
There's been
that sword sums it up right there.
there's a bit of titty all over the place. I don't know what to make of the series. Everything on a scale of 1 to cheat skill.
Well, to give you a scale, Dapless, I'm going to have to watch this. So you might as well too. And then
I
we all know
don't.
what I'm talking about.
It's
I'm gonna
not.
watch it, and I'm
It's not.
gonna, and you're being nice.
I'm
I'm gonna be
setting the.
mean.
I'm setting the bar pretty low. Like its world and magic system and everything else seems super interesting. Where it's lacking for me are the characters and plot.
So you mean the whole thing?
Ah, yeah. No, it's like half of it's average and half of it's really good. No,
Okay,
actually,
now you've
half
just
of it.
set the bar a little bit higher.
So okay, hey, it was pretty. Everything seems so cool, and then nothing happens in the first 2 episodes. And I'm like, I barely know anything about the characters. I don't particularly like any of them that much. Also, unsure whether or not our MC comes from a family of incest or if it's just a weird family dynamic. It's not really specified. Um,
Oh, this is
his
I'm so on board with this.
his exact words
I'm
were
taking notes.
his exact words were, I have an older brother and a sister that go to this academy as well, but actually they're not my siblings, they're my cousins. And that's it. I'm like, so hang on, were you taken in by
Wait,
your auntie and uncle and raised as siblings, or is your mom your auntie as well? I'm unclear about the situation here.
yeah. Yeah, okay. Maybe
And so
we'll
that
get that
was
light shed a little bit later. I would say it was the former as opposed to the latter there.
so I was the
Just a
former.
little bit.
And the person I was watching it with, they were just like, wait, is he a product of incest? I'm like, why was that way you went? And they were like, well, it's anime. I'm like, that just
Makes
because they
sense.
have sister complexes doesn't mean that they are overtly incestuous. It's always subvertly. with like
Always.
my one hit cheat skill sister. Wait, what was that series called?
I went to start watching that, and I'm just like, I got 30 seconds in. I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch this.
My one hit kill sister or something like that.
Hmm.
The one that had like impeccable Sakuga, but just stanky storyline.
Yeah, the animation looked real nice.
Mm.
But as soon as the characters open their mouths, I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Maybe I'll go back or try and find some behind the scenes stuff.
Just go to the what's the Sakuga website called again?
There's an app. They have an app now.
They have an app now? Man, that's
Yeah.
how long it's been since I've been on.
Like there's, I can't remember the name of the app off the top of my head now. But there's an app out there that animators upload all their like working files to. You do have to pay a subscription though, but you get access to
Okay.
all the like the panel work and the timing work and all that
Oh,
sort of
that's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'll track it down. I'll send you a link for it. at some point.
Because I remember there was like a huge database. Can't remember what it was called though.
Right. Before we delve down this rabbit hole, 1071.
You just said numbers at me.
I did.
1070. I'm gonna need a bit more context. My brain ain't working, Logan.
1071.
1071. You've broken me.
The One Piece is
Oh, right. Whoosh.
I know. We talked about it before the show started. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. And man, I bring up the number and you just look at me blankly.
For like a good minute.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so lost. Okay.
Being a hardcore freaking
I don't watch the anime.
fan,
I'm so behind, bro. I watched the dub, which is only up to like episode 1000.
It's not that far behind.
It's honestly the closest we've ever been. And I'm actually really excited. I thought so weirdly enough, we've got up to episode 1000, and then they've done the 2 tie-in episodes for the One Piece film Red movie. So I thought we were up to episode 1030, which I got super excited about because that means I would get to see 1015, which is probably my favorite episode. Animation, story wise, everything. Like, it has, weirdly enough, it has canon filler. Basically, they elaborated more on what the manga couldn't in the weekly time frame. Yeah. So they fleshed it out a little bit more. So it is technically filler, but it's more fleshed out canon essentially. So it's that middle ground where it's like really good, which is what I was hoping 1071 was going to be. As a non-One Piece watcher, I would like to hear your thoughts first, especially like animation wise and whatnot.
Okay, so if we're going strictly on animation, looked great, really did. It felt old school, like it felt like I was watching something that was 20 years old, in a good way.
Yeah.
The 90s, the 2000s and 90s were a spectacular time for animation. And
is Toei really showing what made Toei?
Yeah.
I just said Toei a lot.
Anybody would think you got a foot fetish there.
Man, that was a bad dad joke.
That was a stretch. So look, animation wise, it was really nice. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't Luffy that blew me away. It was the scene with the girl and the guy stuck under the rocks. That was an exceptional scene. A lot, even someone who hasn't watched any of the series. I've watched like the first 2 seasons maybe.
I personally have issues with the pacing.
Yeah, that's the next thing I was going to bring up. So, besides that one scene, I felt like I only watched that one scene and then 30 seconds of animation repeated.
So,
is what it felt like.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna let you finish.
And that's I liked it, but I didn't. And it was because it was so heavily talked up, and everybody's like, "Oh, we've got all these animators coming on board to do all this amazing work," and blah 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 blah, which is great, but you can't cram that all into one episode, which they forgot to tell everyone, and. Also, it was just the very beginning of bringing all those artists on. So this one episode equates to like 1/10 of what's about to come.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched 72 yet. I've seen a lot of video footage from it. So maybe I'll get around to watching it at some point. But I have no idea what's going on, and it doesn't take away from my experience too much because I'm really just there for the animation to see what's going on there. Because I'm just happy to see them pulling back to a hand-drawn environment, and those jarring moments between where it switches from 3D Dragon to 2D Dragon was a little bit painful.
Yeah.
Because it's so drastically different. Because that goofy 2D dragon, you can't do that in 3D. That's you can try as much as you like. You just can't do stuff like that without breaking the laws of physics, essentially.
The rubber hose definitely does not replicate well in anything else other than hand drawn.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be hand drawn. The textures were nice. Colors and textures were really nice because they changed up quite a bit during that sequence as well. So they've done a lot of work visually speaking.
All right.
You tell me what really happened.
I pretty much agree with you on pretty much everything. When I said I didn't really like the pacing, what you said was 100% correct, but that's not exactly what I was referring to. Even the way that it happened in the manga to the way that it happened in the anime was pretty much like shot for shot. I just feel that the Hiyori scene is a bit jarring
Because of the
like
pace.
there it is.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily like the anime did anything differently. It was the same in the manga, and I was kind of hoping it would be shifted around a little bit because, like, with everything that happens during the raid, you could comfortably shift things around in the anime and still have it play out properly. It feels
I would have
weird.
loved it if they put that scene just at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
And then just concentrated on Luffy after that. Just
Or
straight
vice
through.
versa. Like it didn't really matter which way you do it, but having it cut in the middle just felt jarring and doesn't it kind of works negatively to both scenes.
Yeah.
And I kind of get what Oda was trying to do, where it's like you've got the super slapstick dumb shit that's happening with Luffy, and then the really heartfelt, impactful serious stuff that's happening with Hiyori and Orochi, but I don't know, it still kind of fell a little flat. That's probably my nitpick of the whole thing. I love both scenes separately, just together they kind of
Cut in between each other. It just didn't mesh. It just
Um,
felt like I was having that whole sequence of Luffy at the start was just felt like they were just over dramatizing what was about to happen.
my biggest issue is pretty much what you said. Was it was overhyped and so much like reused animation. Currently, with the what are they? What's the word I'm after? Obligatory flashback that recap in 1072, we have seen the same 30-second animation clip 4 times in 2 episodes. It's a really good animation clip. However, I would just like to see a little bit more or different. And it's 100% just because of the overhypeness.
Yeah.
However, I have seen 1072. It's what should have been hyped up.
Yeah.
Good God. It is the next this fight scene for Gear Fifth over the course of the next however many episodes is just going to be absolute insanity when it comes to animation, fight choreography. The what did I fucking call it before? The fleshed out canon,
Hmm.
where, for example, Luffy gets swallowed, but like chomped and swallowed by Kaido. And in the manga panel, it's like one panel, and you see him do like the cartoon where he's like doing the ding 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 ding, like
Oh yeah,
ping-balling
yeah, yeah.
through. Um, in the anime episode, we actually, it sounds super gross, but you see it from inside of Kaido. It sounds bad when I say it too. You see Luffy having fun inside of Kaido. um,
Are
Bouncing
you
around
watching the
like
same One Piece we're watching?
yeah, man. Bouncing around like it's a jumping castle. Um, and something that didn't convey in the manga was how much pain Kaido is in while while Luffy is doing these like waffy,
Yeah.
wacky, goofy shenanigans. Um, like it sounds like he is in genuine like blood curdling screams at some points. Yeah, 1072 was what I was expecting from 1071.
Yeah. That's
1071
good.
was a good appetizer.
Yes.
I feel like we're about to have like a 5-course meal,
Nice.
and this was like our first main.
I'll watch it
Was
when what One
1072.
Piece catches up.
I don't understand why Toei is doing this, man. It's so frustrating. I need a One Piece Kai cut of One Piece.
Yeah, it's called One Piece.
I know. It's insane. I did you send that to me recently?
I think I did.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I I
Yeah.
watched the anime. I know what they do.
Yeah.
But having
I
it
know
side by
why they
side
do
is disgusting.
it.
Um the other thing that I have seen, the only other thing that I've seen someone um criticize 1072 about is Toei seems to be either paying homage or recycling assets from Dragon Ball with Luffy's transformations, specifically Gear Fifth. And I kind of understand where they could be coming from, um, in terms of them wanting to pay homage to themselves, the industry, where they've come from, the amount of influence that Dragon Ball's had on One Piece and everything else as well. I think the reason why some people are getting a little bit bent out of shape about it is because they just want Gear Fifth to be its own thing, not to be compared to other transformations like Goku going
And
Super
don't.
Saiyan.
And don't compare it.
That's kind of
I didn't
the
I didn't get that vibe.
oh no, it's in 1072. So Luffy
Oh,
kind of
okay.
powers down a little bit and then powers back up into Gear 5, and they do like the Super Saiyan energy
Oh yeah.
crackles and even like use the Super Saiyan sound effects as well. And like I personally I don't really care.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what I the other small nitpicky thing that I've seen from
Meant to be a
1072.
goofy scene, and there's what? How other way could you do goof by ripping off another title? Kind of.
Especially one that you own all the creative
Yeah.
license
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my overall thoughts on One Piece.
Cool.
It's weird to kind of be talking about this because I read it in the manga like 3 years ago now. Like, it's so far out of the zeitgeist in my mind, and because I'm not even anywhere close to it in my leisurely watching of the anime.
Right. With that capped, I've got homework to do.
You do.
I'm going to send you homework to do.
So do you, Dapple Ass.
That's right. Join us so we
Be watching
can
Reign of the
comment.
Seven Spellblades. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near cheat school bad. I feel like this is going to be
No.
like junk food watching.
Yeah, we'll come back next week, and I'll be like, "This is the best thing ever."
There are a few episodes out, so we've got a little bit of catching up to do. There's
6 episodes. That's right. A couple of days.
And it's dubbed up to episode 4. I did watch it dubbed because I was lazy and I was eating food.
I do the same thing. I got work to do while I'm, watching.
I can't say it's not the worst dub that I couldn't necessarily.
Sub's probably not much better.
I don't think. I think it's the characters that they're working with, to be honest.
Yeah. Righto.
But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the fun things. You know what to do by this point. Share us around with your friends.
We like that.
Yeah. On that note,
Sorry,
I've been Brad.
I've been Logan.
We've been Read This Way. Check us out again, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next week on Wednesday. Catch you then.